Presidential candidate Kamala Harris seems to have a whole lot of pull on Twitter. Why do I say that? Well, shortly after she called for the banning and deletion of the president's Twitter page, Jack Dorsey took it upon himself to, initiate a few more rules and regulations against, quote, world leaders. But first, let's check out what Kamala Harris had to say. Take a look at this article on thegatewaypundit.com. Tyrant Kamala Harris calls for Twitter to silence Trump and delete his account. Democrats continue to crap on the Bill of Rights. And PJmedia.com, Harris then criticizes Warren for not calling on Twitter to shut down Trump's account. So tyrant Kamala Harris wants to limit our freedom of speech, specifically the freedom of speech coming from our commander-in-chief, the President of the United States of America. Why? Because she simply doesn't like that he's on the other side of the political spectrum. So she opts to silence him. Well, never fear, because it seems that Twitter has gone up and taken her somewhat on her offer. Take a look at this article on twitter.com. Now, I want you to notice the published date of October 15th, 2019. And it's titled, World Leaders on Twitter, Principles and Approach. What are some of those new principles? It states, there continues to be meaningful public conversation about how we think about tweets from world leaders on our service. We welcome the conversation and want to share more context on our principles and process for reviewing reports, tweets from these accounts. When it comes to the action of world leaders, aka President Trump on Twitter, we recognize that this is largely new ground and unprecedented. We understand the desire for our decisions to be yes and no binaries, but it's just not that simple. The actions we take and policies we develop will set precedents around online speech, and we owe it to the people we serve to be deliberate and considerate in what we do. Our mission is to provide a forum that enables people to be informed and to engage their leaders directly. We have a responsibility to the people who use Twitter to better explain why we make the decisions we make, which we will do here. Now, let me just pause right there. For starters, Twitter has already admitted that they're a yes and no binary, meaning they can decide what they deem is appropriate or what they deem is not appropriate. Now, Twitter is one of the biggest social media websites here in the United States of America, and the president has been avidly using it as a direct contact with the people. Why? So we don't have to listen to the lies of the mainstream media. And now, Jack Dorsey over at Twitter wants to limit what he can and can't say. And guess who gets to be the, doorway to decide whether or not the president gets to speak on certain things? Jack Dorsey himself. Now, what are some of the things that they're claiming they're going to prevent the president or other world leaders from saying? Well, take a look at their enforcement page, and here's what they say. We want to make it clear today that the accounts of world leaders, aka President Trump, are not above our policies entirely. The below areas will result in enforcement action for any account or our service without consideration of the potential public interest value in allowing the tweet to remain visible behind a notice. Let me pause. So if they think something is okay and it goes against whatever they believe, which in this case, Twitter is known to avidly censor conservatives. The president is a conservative. So if they feel that something is inappropriate, they'll put it behind a wall and make you sign something basically to go beyond that wall, or put up a notice to you to let you know that the president has just violated something. Interesting. But it goes on. If the president of the United States or any world leaders talk about any of the following, then this is what gets removed. Number one, promotion of terrorism. Promotion of terrorism could mean anything under Jack Dorsey standards. In fact, they're already trying to make the NRA a terrorist organization to make it illegal to join him. So if the president tweets in support of the NRA, does that suddenly become part of your violation? Here's another one. Clear and direct threats of violence against an individual. But context, Dorsey says, matters. As noted above, direct interactions with fellow public figures and or commentary on public and foreign policy issues would likely not result in enforcement. Keyword there, likely not, which means it has the possibility to result in some kind of enforcement where they remove that tweet altogether because they don't like that the President Trump is speaking against, Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, for example. Here's another one. Posting private information such as home address or non-public personal phone numbers. Like a president's going to do that anyway. Moving on, posting or sharing intimate photos or videos of someone that were produced or distributed without their consent. Engaging in behaviors relating to child sexual exploitation, and encouraging or promoting self-harm, usually not going to come from a world leader, but in any case. And then he concludes with, in other cases involving a world leader, we here at Twitter will err on the side of leaving the content up if we'll leave it up if there is a clear public interest in doing so. So if Twitter decides that it's in your best interest, America, to remove it or leave it, then they get to be the gatekeeper. Specifically, Jack Dorsey, a leftist radical who censors his political opposition. Why does he get such power and authority over world leaders simply for using the platform? You see, what other direct access can we have from the presidential office other than some of the things that we have on social media? But yet, it seems Twitter is taking a play from the Democratic playbook and attempting to do everything they can to ban the president in a roundabout way and control world dictators under the banner of big tech organizations. I think InfoWars said it real well on this article. Censorship. Twitter announces new restrictions for world leaders. Big tech moving to block Trump's reach to public as election season heats up. What is this truly about? It's about dethroning and getting the president and keeping him from winning in the 2020 election. Well, time to share this information far and wide so your friends and your relatives and your loved ones know exactly what's happening to the president by Jack Dorsey's Twitter. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. Please don't forget to check out my partner at preparewithlisa.com. If you guys don't have food storage, I want to encourage you to get that, as you never know what can happen. Earthquakes happen, and there's ones that happened real recently, at quite a few, over 4.5 and I think a 4.7 there in California recently along the fault line there. So please make sure you have something on hand in case of emergency. I use, again, preparewithlisa.com. They've got an amazing discount of up to 45% off. So check it out in the description box below. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.